Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I'm Nola. I'd love to wish you a very happy and healthy new year. And if you've been here before, thank you for coming back. If you're a new subscriber, there have been several of you. I'm so grateful. Thank you, and I hope you'll stay a while. Period. I hope you'll also stay a while if this is your first time here. So without further ado, last week we discussed the topic of spiritual awakening and what it means. And if you haven't watched it, I'm going to strongly suggest that you do so that you will have a better understanding of this particular video today. So we spoke about what it means and what happens after the books, what happens after the lectures, what happens about after all of the retreats and the circles and the recordings that we play late into the night, and many of us fall asleep to some of these teachings or recordings. And there comes a moment where no teacher can walk you through, because eventually you have to face yourself. That's just the truth, at least from my experience that I'm sharing with you. Not the curate itself, not the enlightened version, but the real you. The you that no one gets to see, not the you that your co-workers get to see, not the you that your friends get to see, not the you that your children get to see, not the you that your partner or your spouse may get to see, but the real you. Your wounds, your patterns, your fears, the beliefs that once kept you safe and no longer serve you. Where do you go with this? And this is the part that nobody sells, because it doesn't come with a shortcut. Spiritual awakening is not bypassing pain. It is meeting it without anesthesia. Really painful and difficult. Some days the work is deep and very internal. Other days the work is simply surviving real life on this planet called Earth, where you have to pay the bills, where you're caring for others, where you are grieving losses, and barely able to get out of bed on those days when you feel so overwhelmed that you can barely get out of bed. I've been there, I promise you. And sometimes you have to put the spiritual work down altogether and deal with what is right in front of you in this present moment or that present moment. That doesn't mean that you failed, beloved. It means that you are human, truly human. There were seasons in my life where I could not see a way out, where the only prayer I had was, just get me through this minute, just get me through this moment. And that counted. One step at a time counted. One breath at a time counted. Because my survival counted, and your survival counts as well. The dark nights of the soul are not mistakes. They are not punishments. They are initiations. Because I promise you, you won't just go through one dark night of the soul. If you're young, you'll go through several throughout your lifetimes. And those of you who are more mature, like myself, probably know this. And no one can walk them for you. Those dark nights of the soul, no one can walk them for you. And something really important I want to say, not everyone is met by angels. Not everyone hears voices or feels a presence in a room. Not everyone receives messages wrapped in light. For some of us, there is no vision, no revelation, no dramatic experience that explains everything or anything, right? There is only awareness and responsibility. And beloved, and that quiet understanding that you still have to live your life. And that can feel disappointing, even lonely. Oh yes, absolutely lonely. But it does not mean nothing is happening. And this is important to understand. The difference is not spiritual rank. It's not spiritual rank, it's orientation, how your soul orients. Some people awaken through experience, others awaken through recognition. Some are shown, and some of us simply know. Those who awaken through experience often have sensory awakening. It arrives through imagery, emotion, visions, presence, or external seeming encounters. Their nervous systems translate insight into experience, and their faith is reinforced by being shown. You know, some of us are auditory, some of us are the show me people, others of us are feeling, and some of us may experience nothing sensory at all. We see nothing, we hear nothing, we feel nothing dramatic. But we know beyond a shadow of a doubt. And that knowing is both cognitive and embodied. It shows up as clarity, coherence, certainty, and certainty. We don't need proof. You may not need proof. We recognize when it appears. Many of us recognize when the truth appears. And neither path is higher, and neither path is better. There are simply different ways of human beings to process the meaning of your spiritual growth or your spiritual awakening. For some of us, knowing doesn't arrive in meditation at all. There are many of us who find it very difficult to sit quietly and meditate. So often our knowings will come when we are in the shower, walking the dog, perhaps you are driving to work, or quietly standing by the kitchen sink, perhaps you're finishing up the dishes, or simply drinking a much-needed glass of water. And that's when that knowing comes. For others, it comes in those 3 a.m. wake-ups. Nothing wrong, nothing urgent, just awake. Between 3 and 3:30, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, it's just that where you are awakened for no particular reason. And in that stillness, you know that you know that you know that you know. You don't see anything. You don't hear anything. There's no message and no explanation. There's just certainty. A knowing so quiet and so complete, it doesn't announce itself. And once it arrives, it begins to recognize itself around it. And once it arrives, life begins to recognize itself around it. Spiritual awakening isn't about becoming someone else. Spiritual awakening, is remembering who you already are, slowly, honestly, and very often painfully. And sometimes the most spiritual thing you can do is stop striving, stop searching, and simply live. And then when you're ready, you pick the work up again. This is not one fluid, straight path. It has mountaintops, valleys, in between moments. It has struggles. It's not a straight path. I probably started my search when I was about 11 years old, and it has not been a linear path. Oh my gosh, it has been so many things that I could not have known or thought of or imagined. And that's not failure when you have to put the work down and pick it up again. That, beloved, is wisdom. It absolutely is. And if you're in the middle of it right now, confused, tired, disillusioned, perhaps even brokenhearted, you're not broken. Understand this, you're not broken. You're becoming. You are becoming. And you're not behind. You are right on time. And one more thing that's really important for me to say to you today. Even when we are not actively working on our spirituality, even when we've stepped away from the books, the practices, the searching, the lectures, the tutorials, when we've stepped away from all of that, life continues the work. Our lives itself continues the work. The experiences we move through, the relationships, the losses, the pauses, the detours. Yes, the detours. They are the threads that quietly tie everything together. We may not understand them in the moment, and we may never fully understand them at all. And sometimes understanding only comes perhaps months later or years later, or when in hindsight we look back and realize that what felt random was not random at all. Awakening doesn't always announce itself while it's happening. It often it only makes sense looking back. You know how they say, hindsight is perfect vision. When you look back, that's when you really get to see it. And sometimes the meaning isn't meant to be grasped, only lived. Thank you for being here. And let me remind you to be kind and tender with yourself and to those you meet along the way, because everyone is dealing with something we know nothing about. I want to also tell you that next week I will be chatting with you about what it actually means to be an empath. I've done 2 tutorials or chats with you on that. And I want to reinforce it's not what many of us think it is. And before I bid you goodbye for this next week, I want to say this to you, precious souls. In this year of 2026, so fresh and still so new, I believe and pray that beautiful things find you. And when they do, I hope you recognize that you've always been worthy of every single one of them. A very happy and healthy new year to you. If you like this video, would you consider hitting the like button, giving it a thumbs up? If you know someone you think could use this information, please consider sharing. And if you consider subscribing, it really helps me to get the message out. Until the next time, do take care and bye for now.